Good afternoon everybody, and a very warm welcome to Mildenhall and Districts, and my name is Susanna and I live with trains, and today is going to be a general knowledge video, which basically means it's a bit of everything today, and it really does mean a bit of everything today. There's lots to talk about, there's lots to cover, so I'm going to get straight on with it. The majority of the work's been done at this end at Goswell, but literally there's stuff dotted all around the layout, because I checked out my last layout update video and it was some time before I did a proper layout video. Like I said, there were some little mini updates along the way, but nothing proper like this. So let's get straight into it. Now, a few weeks ago, I was watching, as many of you guys know, I watch a lot of American stuff, and there's always something to learn. I keep saying this, there's always something to learn from other people's layouts, whether they do American, European, double O gauge, N gauge, whatever. And I was watching one of my subscribers, which I don't believe, sorry, one of my subscriptions that I follow. And he's called Larry, and he's from the South Olympic branch in America. And he was demonstrating something that he got recently, which is something that's been playing on my mind for a little while. Now, on my videos, I have said in the past that, I really apologise for the shadows because the light's a bit poor around here and there. So I decided to address it because I watched Larry's video. Because Larry put up his video and he actually showed that recently he bought a light from Amazon. And it's called a VGym. And this is it. It's just a little tiny little thing. And it's a great little piece of tech for the layout. Because I was suffering from poor lighting in certain areas and I was getting sort of like shadows in certain areas. And so I wanted just to sort of deal with it, but I wasn't quite sure which way to go. But then Larry popped up with this video and he showed that he bought one of these things and he said how great it was and what it did. And I thought, wow, that sounds really great. And when I checked out the price, it wasn't overly expensive. So I thought I'd give it a go. And I must admit, I'm really pleased with the results of this so far, because I've primarily at the moment, my first use for it was actually I was doing some work under the baseboard and I had some really poor light and I couldn't really, obviously you're crawling around on the baseboards and you can't see anything, it's all dark in there. So I stuck this on the tripod and boom, you could see exactly what you were doing, no problems at all. And I thought, how brilliant, not only am I using this for the layout at the top side to do the filming, but I'm also using it for the bottom side to be able to fill in the light underneath the baseboards for when I'm doing maintenance work or whatever underneath the boards. So this is it. It's from Amazon. It costs about £20 or so, or £25 or something. I can't remember. And all you get with it is literally a USB cord and the light itself. But that's all you need. You get an instruction booklet, but you don't really need that. And this is a little unit, and you kind of, as you can see on the bottom, it ties into your. You can either screw it in to your tripod, or you can slide it in through the top because it's got this like square thing, so you can slide it in, which I've got one on my tripod, so I can do either or. And then you've got two lights. This one here, as you can see, is the power button, but it also adjusts the intensity of the light. And then this one adjusts the sort of brightness of it, and so you can sort of try it out. Now, I don't want to do it too, put it right in your face, but you can just sort of see, and if I just turn the dial up, you can see the brightness, how bright it goes. So you can see what it can do. And then after, if you just sort of feel the light, you can sort of see through my top sort of various colours, and whether it goes slightly yellow or slightly whiter, you can see, to give it like a warm glow, or you can sort of do it to give it the brightness, the bright whites. Now, I haven't actually charged this yet. This is actually was working with some power, and I've been playing around with it and I'm really pleased. And I'll also, during the course of this video, just give you a brief demonstration as well, as to what I mean by the shadows that I was suffering and how this has helped with that. So if you're suffering with poor lighting or something like that and you want to be able to move it around to get into closer areas, then may I suggest this, because this is absolutely a wonderful product. Like I said, I haven't had it that long, but it's absolutely fabulous, and it does exactly what it says on the tin. and it's a great little gadget. So like I said, I know, this is a model railway channel and I generally speak about the model railways, but this is, like I said, I know it's not strictly model railway, but I do use it for model railway purposes, and it may help other people as well as the tripods, because as you say, when you're doing filming on YouTube, you obviously need these gadgets, whether it be a tripod or whether it be lighting and all the rest of it, or maybe a mic or something like that. So it's not just literally about the trains and the track. When you're doing filming, obviously you do want the proper equipment to try and get a good video to come across. I also wanted to mention that I had Gary pop over last week from Cheeky Tech, very dear friend of mine, and I was really happy to see him. And he came over and we had a lovely chit chat, social, and play trains. So these trains here, I've been here from when he came over. They're still sitting here. I haven't moved them, but that's because I've been doing other work, lots of other work around the layout, which you're about to see. So let's get on with the video. So these next few bits we're going to do sort of freehand, so forgive me if it's a bit wobbly. The first thing to note is that I did this. This is kind of like a guard, which I kind of saw while I looked back at some of the videos of Arklow Quarry, I should say, I think it's Derbyshire, and I was looking back at it again, and I just thought I'd try and improve it. So I put this little guard in. One of the other things that I've done is I've added another twin pack to my train. So that's this one here, and there's another identical one at the other end. So I've now got 12 of these. And the other thing I've been doing a lot with my wagons is I've converted the majority of my wagons to the Hornby magnetic couplings, although you can see a tension lock on the right hand side, but that tension lock just is basically to equate to the locos at the moment that are attaching to the front and back of this train, because at the moment I haven't got quite enough magnetic couplings to go around. So in the meantime, I haven't converted all the locos, so I'm just leaving them as tension locks for now, but all the wagons in between are the majority of my wagons now have been converted to this Hornby magnetic coupling where I can, but there are certain wagons that don't actually take these. So this wagon here and its sister one on the other end are two new ones to add, so now I've got 12 instead of 10. If we move further down, when Gary came over, he kindly gave me this, and it's a nice little beauty. It's a nice little digger. This is bucket loader, I should say. I think they call it a front end loader. So he kindly gave me this. So thank you so much, Gary. It's really much appreciated, and it sits really lovely on this layout. And over here at Arklow, I do have these two. So I've now got 3. So I need to do a bit more operations around here. Because I haven't really done. I tend to play with this sort of like when I just play at this end of the layout rather than have the whole layout set up. But this is how it is at the moment. So this is St Anne's Station, which I've been working on and doing a few bits and pieces here and there. But nothing major's really happened here, except for I redid this area. Now you might have seen it on the cab ride videos, which I'm sure you have. But before, there used to be a point just here that went off onto this line here. However, that kind of meant that I only had space for like a 2-car unit. And as you can see, my 4-car Batman 450 is sitting in here quite nicely now, because I've inserted this point here, this curved point, and basically extended the run to allow trains to terminate at St Anne's, and it didn't matter whether I had a 4-car unit or a 3-car or a 2-car unit. It didn't matter what it was, it would still fit along this siding here. So they weren't restricted to just terminating in the fiddle yard or going straight back, so they had somewhere to stop here. And that was quite good, because like I said, when I've been operating with Dave and with Gary, we did have these passenger trains coming back and forth, and it was nice to terminate them here and send them back. And to be honest, passenger traffic is kind of quite important here on this layout. So This is the first station. Now this, like I said, the only updated bit was this bit here for this station. There was nothing major going on here at this station here. So welcome to the new station, and this is, well, let me give you some bearings. You've got Goswell sidings just over here on the left, and then it rounds the curve, and before you used to have a scenic break here to cover what this used to be like the hidden siding. Now what I decided to do is I decided that I wanted to create another station to again create the illusion of distance and going somewhere. And I was going to leave the original sort of back scene along here. The problem is there's two problems actually. The first was that I found that this back scene used to run along this middle bit here, and that made it very, very well, it made this hidden to a degree, which was good, because it then, when you came round the layout, you couldn't see this station, and it almost seemed like you're going somewhere completely different. The problem with that is that the board was almost virtually on top of the railway line, and so you couldn't really get any good camera shots, and it almost seemed like a shame to have gone through all this effort to put this station here, and then you couldn't really see it. And then the other thing was also is that it made it easier for me not to have to bend the scenic break around to always fit it on here, and it's a lot quicker to just fit it, and you again, there's no scenic break here, so it's just a lot easier just to drop down, a lot quicker to drop down, and all I've got is this little mini scenic break, which is a lot shorter and smaller, and it's, and more importantly, straight, so I didn't have to try and bend it round. So I'm just going to spin you around and then we'll talk you through it. So firstly, before we start, I just wanted to say that A, this station is not finished, and B, as you can see it, this is what I was talking about, the shadows. And you can probably see the illusion of the shape of the V-gym, which I just showed you earlier. And obviously I'm trying to eliminate the shadows now, so I'm just going to turn the light on, and hopefully you can get rid of the shadows and you can actually see what's going on. And you can turn, so now you can see it's much better. And I'm just adjusting the fill light, as you can see, so you can adjust it from one end to the other. So now I've got the light on, and hopefully there shouldn't be any shadows as such. So anyway, what I've got here is, this is a Bachmann product which I bought, and then I've added some Network Southeast bits and pieces. Now this is kind of to show that even though I'm not modelling Network Southeast anymore, I still had a couple of Network Southeast bits. It's kind of to give the impression that this is over at the handover stage between Network Southeast and Southwest Trains, and they haven't quite changed all the signage, or they haven't quite changed all the furniture. So the idea is to leave a couple of sort of element or a hint of Network Southeast days and its origin. So it's only got one platform, and as you can see, it's pretty bare. But like I said, the station is Hornby, and the idea is that this station is just like strong. If it's made out of card or foam board, it might just warp when I keep dropping it up and down. Also, it's also glued in place, so it's not going anywhere. So when I lift this will all just come off. So the back scene, the building, and any vehicles, they can just be put on afterwards. But the platform is at the same height as the front edge, so when it goes up, I don't have to worry about that. Now, like I said, it isn't actually finished yet, and I'm just going to see if I can adjust this light. I'm still playing around with it, so if there's still a few shadows, forgive me. Now, I do have some bits and pieces for this end, which I haven't actually received, which I haven't actually put on just yet. Now, I've got some bits from eBay, and as you can see, I've got some, there you go, I've got some ticket machines, and as you can see from the advertising, there's other bits and pieces that you can get from there. Now, I chose these particular ticket machines, because these ticket machines actually look like what you get on the Southwestern Railway network, as it were. So I quite like these because these are like pretty modern ones. I also got this, which is like a wooden bus shelter. So that wooden bus shelter is this is a Hornby one. It's a second-hand one, I think. and I got it, and it's going to go just over there. And again, it's going to be one of those that you could just place over there, and then you'd have to take it out. But the ticket machines I can just glue into position. I also received from Model Railway Scenery and Accessories, this is also off of eBay, a pack of 3 benches. So these are the sort of Network Southeast style type benches. So they've got to be painted up, and again, they'll go over here. Also, as a bargain, I managed to pick up this Hornby working signal. Now, I would like to have bought some more Dapol ones, but because this is a lift up section as well, I can't actually do that because obviously it would interfere with the wall when I raise it up. So it's going to have to be one of those where you just put on the layout and it will just have to be removed as and when. So I'd probably just have to sit it sort of like over there in the corner or something like that. I'll just try and zoom you out a bit, or maybe raise you out a bit. You can see it there on the edge of the platform, because as you can see, this is where the bridge is. That's where the line is from when it lifts up. So you can see there's no space for me to try and fit it on the bit that's actually not movable. But so it's going to be one of those. But the thing is about this signal is it's a real bargain. It only cost me £1. I think it's £1.75 it cost me, I think. And so, you know, you can't argue with that. So all I have to do is just put that in there, try and bed it in a bit or something, and that will just do a job for scenic purposes. And then the other thing I bought, I got from eBay, is I found this from Nick's Model Trains. So usually I get my signage from Eagle One Model Signs, and I come across this guy, Nick's Model Trains. And so you can see I've got some station, you can see the station's now called, this station's going to be called Goswell Park. But what I liked about this one and what I wanted to try on this one is that A, it's got the blue lettering like it did in the early days when the South West Trains took over. And also, not only has it got all the platform numbers, but it's actually got more than the other one. It's actually got 8. Plus, the thing that really sold it to me is all this additional signage that you get along the bottom here, which the other one didn't come with, and like the toilets, the tickets, signage and stuff like that. So that kind of gives you some extra stuff that I didn't get through the other one. So I didn't know what the quality is, but judging by the paper, I think the quality is probably, I'd say, more duller than the other ones that I normally get. But I do like this. So it's called Goswell Park. So it isn't finished yet. I'm still waiting on something very special to come, which will be a video in itself. But as you can see, this is gonna be the new station here, and this will be mainly a shuttle service between Mildenhall, Riverside, and Goswell Park here, with the occasional through train that comes from Waterloo that'll go all the way around the layout and then comes back and finishes here at Goswell Park in the rush hour peaks. Now, something else is, God, this region's really working good on the layout. Yeah, I can really see the difference in the brightness and the lights and the colour. You see anything, no shadow. So anyway, so one of the other things I did was to add this, which is the guard. It's like a screen, and what it does is a reflective screen, and it allows the drivers from a distance to be able to see the signal. And the reason, and they put it at these sorts of places where they think that the vision of the driver might be obscured. And this is one such area. And this came across mainly when I did the cab ride, and I noticed that. And I thought it would be a great thing to model, because I don't think I've seen anybody model it. But also, I just think it was appropriate that when I noticed it, that when the train came round the corner through the cab ride along here, you couldn't really see the signal clearly because you had the colours of the footbridge here, and you also had the colour of the bridge. But on top of that, what made it even more difficult is that at the time, I had my South West Trains bus parked up here, which I still do usually. Now, as you can see, the South West Trains bus is red at the front end. So again, without this kind of reflective screen to help the driver, it was almost like the signal was obscured and being blended into the front of the bus. So I thought I'd add that. which I thought was really, and I thought was a lovely thing to model as well. I also got some TPWS grids, which I'll be installing as well. These are from Pico. I think these are SL46s, which, yep, they are. And now we're going to carry on with our tour. So here we are at Chast Road, and it's just a very minor update at Chast Road. What I've done is I've removed the two original shelters that were here, because they're going to be moved over to the other side, which I'll show you shortly. And because there were two originally on Mildenhall Riverside Station, it was just two that I needed over here. So I've just basically just swapped them around, and that's all I've really done. Like I said, I did tidy up this end. I've also added some more signage along here on the ends. I think I showed you this, but I'd added some platform signage. This is one of my new Christmas arrivals, which I haven't really properly introduced to you. And this one is actually slightly different to the other new tooling. I noticed a couple of differences, because I thought all the new tooling from Bachmann, they were all the same but different paint jobs. But there's actually a slight variations in some of these. So there is definitely a difference between this Southwest Trains one and my GWR one, which I'll go into at some point. And then after, I added a bit more signage down here at Chast Road. So we've also come down to the other end of the layout. Now the biggest thing that's actually changed is as I spin you around, and this track configuration has now been changed, because the biggest thing that I've been doing this week is I've been modernising Mildenhall Riverside Station. Now, don't worry that it's not sort of popped down, because it's not actually in position yet. But that's because I'm still working on it, and as I'm still doing things, as you can see, it's all very bare. But the idea was to have and modernise the station. And as you can see also, I've changed the track. So the track is I'm now starting to convert my track from wooden sleeper track, if you like, to this concrete. So I've started using that. I haven't actually tested this yet, because it's only really recently just been done. I was actually busy yesterday, so I didn't get a chance to test it yesterday. But as you can see, it's a pretty long station, and it's a modern station. You might be able to see the wiring for the TMD, the engine shed, but that's because I've been removing it in order to get to the track work behind. The station building at the back there won't be staying there. That's just a sort of standing building. I was just thinking about converting that building. It's an old Super Quick building that was given to me. I was thinking of possibly converting that, but I don't think I will, because I've now got another building to put on there, which I will show you shortly. But I was just getting an idea of I really wanted to create a modern sort of long stretch of station. Now, before, along here, I had, as you well know, it was a single island platform made from Hornby. The problem with that is I wanted two platforms, go from one platform to two platforms, and I looked at how much a single stretch of Hornby platform would be, and that is about £5. I think it's about £5 a piece. And so all in all, I worked out that it was going to cost me about, I think it's about £30 or £35 or something like that, to basically convert the rest of the pieces that I needed. I needed to spend another £30 on top of the platforms I already had. And I just thought, no, that's just too expensive. But then when I had a look at the West Hill Wagon Works modern station kit, that was even more ridiculous, because they wanted something like £40 for 2 foot. Now, just to give you an idea, 2 foot is about there, roughly. And they wanted £40 for 2 feet. And I'm like, that would cost, and that means I'd need 2 packs per side. And that just cost me a fortune to do that, and it just wasn't worth it. So my alternative was to go back to this foam board. So all of this is made out of foam board, and I kid you not that these 2 pieces of platform cost me £5, because it was all made out of one sheet of foam board. And then I used the glue gun to glue gun all the bits and pieces together. Fair enough, you have to pay extra for the paints, but the paints I had, and most of us will probably have paints knocking around in any case. The brick papers that I'm using for the feet I already had anyway, so that didn't cost me anything. The only thing that really cost me was just this ridiculous fencing at the back here, which is like, I think it's nearly £14 for 10 pieces, which is absolutely extortionate. But I had no choice, and when you factor in how little I paid for the platforms to make them, then I guess it still works out to be better value than the West Hill Wagon Works stuff. And this way, I've created a full length. This is about 4 coaches, 4 or 5. I think it's about 5 feet actually in total. I think this is 4 or 5 feet in length. And like I said, the actual foam board itself cost me, like I said, a £5. So, and then obviously it's cost me some time, but in all honesty, it isn't a very difficult job to actually make these. And then I just use masking tape to mask off all the lines so I can get the lines that I wanted and all the rest of it. And then I just use the paper wraps and wrap them around the feet. So, as you can see from this part of the video, you're now facing me and also facing the station. Now, one of the things I wanted to talk to you about is that obviously I did buy a footbridge, but I've given myself a bit of a mission impossible with that because I didn't realise it when I bought it. Here is the template for it, and it should sit, let me see if you can see it. Does it need to go up here so you can see it? You can well, anyway, it will fit because that's the template that I've got going in there. And what it is I'm a huge fan of Collingwood. It's a model railway layout called Collingwood, and on his layout he had a footbridge which I really liked. The reason why I liked it is because it was a modern footbridge, and I asked him about it, and he told me what it was, and then he told me it was a Fowler footbridge and that he'd modified it. Now, if you go onto YouTube, you can actually, if you type in Collingwood Model Railway, you'll come across his layout. It's been at exhibitions before, it's been at quite a few of them, I've seen it quite often. I've chatted to the guys there quite a bit about it. And then, like I said, he told me he got this footbridge from Fowler. And what I didn't quite realise is that it actually came as a kit, and this is the kit here. It's a really quite big kit, but it looks absolutely amazing. Now, what I like about this kind of footbridge is it kind of reminds me a little bit of Reading, and the way it kind of swoops down, and also it just seems like very modern. A lot of the footbridges I see that you type in on eBay or on the internet, they're very kind of oldie worldy, kind of southern regions, sort of either concrete sort of type footbridge, or you get a lot of these like really, I say, backdated ones, like from the 50s and 60s and all these kind of iron wrought ones. But I wanted something modern. But this was the only thing I could sort of find that was kind of modern. Now I'm going to actually do the same as the guys at Collingwood, because here you've got the turret for the lifts. But what they did is that they covered it up and bricked it out, which is what I'm going to do, because that's sort of what you get in the UK, because obviously this is more kind of like European. And it also says it's HO, but that's fine because I've seen it on this layout, I know it works, it's not a problem. But like I said, I am going to brick this up because it is more kind of British like that, the way they've done it. So that's how I kind of want to do it, because it does look very European, but it is a bit more than what I could chew, I think. I mean, it's quite an extensive kit. It has 236 pieces, and and if you look at it, it's just so much stuff. Hang on a minute, I'll take the top layer off. Sorry, it's a two-handed job. But it is like an Airfix kit. You know, you just have to put it all together and stuff like that. This bit in the packaging here, the tissue paper, that's kind of like all the glazing and stuff like that. So that's something that I've got to work on next. Thankfully, I managed to sort of work out the dimensions for it, so it should fit within the space I have. And like I said, the space that I have is quite tight, but this is the template that I created based on the measurements that I managed to get off of here. So it should actually fit. So like I said, I've put it on the layout, and the two end pieces are to indicate where the steps are going, and then obviously the span in the middle. So that's kind of what I've got as a template for that. So I'll be building that over the next coming weeks. I haven't actually seen anybody on YouTube building it, so I was kind of hoping that maybe somebody has done it to sort of give me a bit of a guide. I don't know how easy or difficult it's going to be. Apparently this is extendable, so if you have, say, 3 platforms, you can actually buy another kit to sort of extend it out to cover more platforms. However, from my point of view, I don't really need that, and again, it was quite pricey when I bought it. As far as the station building is concerned, I was looking at buildings for a modern type building, and there is a lot of these kind of, still on South Western Railways, there's still a lot of these sort of brickwork type buildings that have just been painted up or jazzed up in some sort of way and refurbished. But I still don't think that looks right. So I decided to have a look around, and I was looking at what was around, and I couldn't really find anything that sort of took my fancy apart from this. This is a Scale Scenes kit. I've only built one of these Scale Scenes kits before, I think it's because they've got a free version. I think when you buy them, basically there's a try before you buy. So for example, if you've never bought anything from Scale Scenes before, there's a couple of kits that you can download and then just put them together yourself. And I mean, they're not very anything special kits, but to be fair, they did still serve me a purpose on my Behringer layout, I think it was. And so it gives you an idea of how difficult their kits are to build. And I come across this kit, which is R003A, I think it's called. Yes, that's what it is, because it actually says it on the front. And that's it there. Now, the building we're going for is this building here. And again, I checked on the internet and to see if anyone had built it. Nobody's built it, so it's kind of like, quite nice if somebody kind of give you a hand sometimes with these things. And the instructions are really clear. There's loads, it's step-by-step instructions, so I'm hoping it'll be fine. I tend to kind of like building my own scratch build stuff simply because you know what you're doing when you build your own stuff, whereas when you're building stuff that somebody else has created, then you have to sort of make sure that their instructions are understandable and legible, and that you can actually do it. So we're going to have a go. Now, it does say on here now that you can, just to give you an idea, you do get signage as well, which is good, and you also get some customizable bits. So for example, I'm just trying to see if I can find a piece here that's quite easy to sort of spot. So like for example, I think you've got the doors here and the side panels here and stuff like that, and you can have it either in blue, which is what I would, because that would be more like South Western Railway style furniture, or you can have this red, which is like more like the Network South East sort of style. And then afterwards you could also have the grey, which I guess is like I don't know, but just more like of a uniform type of colour. So you can choose which colours you kind of want to use. So I won't be using all of it, but obviously, you know, it's just whatever suits you. And then there's also there's a vending machine on this as well. So they give you a vending machine, and there's a number of signage, again in different colours, different fonts. So if you want to do a kind of like a BR style, you can. If you want to do a Network South East style, you can. And then after there's the blue light for the South Western Railway, South West trains. So again, I'll be attempting to build one of those. So that will go in there, over in the far corner. So now I've got the footbridge and the station building to build. So those are my next sort of jobs for this kind of area. And like I said, the shuttle service, the idea of the shuttle service is that it's going to run round the front bi-directional, and then it's going to come on this inner line here, and then it will come into this platform here, which is platform number, let's see, there you go, platform number 1 or 3, whichever you want to call it, where the buffers are, which are down here, and then it will just go back out. So that's one of the things I was thinking of doing, because I didn't really want to change the track work over at the far side where Chast Road is, because I was going to stick across over there, but because of the polarity kind of issues, I didn't really want to go for it, because I just thought, well, the layout's generally running well as it is, I'm just going to leave well enough as it is alone. So I'm quite happy doing what I'm doing, and yeah, I think it's going to look really great. So that, like I said, there's loads to do. There's more of these. These are the ones that come from Chast Road, these shelters, but I want to get some more of these shelters to put on here. Like I said, the footbridge will then go on there. I've got the station signage, then you add some people. So by the time it's all said and done, it will come out quite nicely. And then I've got to work out about adding lighting to the platforms as well. So we're nowhere near done, but at least it gives you a rough idea of what I'm up to and how it's going to look. But I really do like the idea of this now modern style type of platform. I think it's going to look really, really cool. So I'm going to love you and leave you. And until the next time, it's goodbye from me. My name is Susanna, and I live with trains. Bye bye.